Hi everyone and welcome to week 5. In week 5, we're going to be reading chapters 20 through 21. I have some notes here for you. I have some review questions for the quiz, and I also have some sample test questions. Under your resources, we have some very interesting videos that you can review. Here's your week 5 discussion form. In the week 5 discussion form, make sure to focus on your initial post, which should be to the discussion question. You need to make sure to have an APA formatted in-text citation and reference to support your work. And you also want to make sure to focus on a 1 peer response by Sunday night. For this week, we're going to be looking at the role of aggregate demand, aggregate supply. Aggregate demand, aggregate supply is looking at total demand, total supply in our economy. Let me show you a graph of what this will look like. Here's aggregate demand right here. Aggregate demand is total demand. It's looking at, here's our potential long-run aggregate supply. Here's the total demand in our economy right here. We're going to be focused on how fiscal and monetary policy will influence aggregate demand. The components of aggregate demand are consumption, government, businesses, and international sector. Those are the main components of aggregate demand that you want to focus on. With these components, you'll want to look at which of one has the greatest impact. And you'll notice that consumption is about 70% of our economy. Investments are the business sector, and government is looking at government spending in our economy. All of these have a major component of our economy. For chapter 21, you're going to be looking at fiscal policy. Fiscal policy is a way to stimulate our economy and change the direction of aggregate demand. Discretionary fiscal policy tools are used to help our economy. If we're looking at discretionary policies, you'll notice that the government can easily influence both taxes and spending levels. Now, the problem with fiscal policy tools, it takes a lot of time to implement, which creates a lot of dangers in our economy. So when you look at expansionary policies, you got two different things that you can do. You can decrease taxes or increase government spending. Both of these will stimulate aggregate demand and our economy. Contractionary fiscal policy is where you're trying to slow the economy down, and you have two different things you can do there: decrease government spending or increase taxes. Both of these will be able to influence aggregate demand and actually slow aggregate demand down or decrease it. Examples of contractionary policy is when the government gets involved to slow an economy down that's in an inflationary gap, which means it's growing too fast. Here's an example of what expansionary policy would be. Here's the economy right here, where we should be at in full employment. However, we're right here. The economy is below its potential. So you would do policies to stimulate demand and cause the economy to get back to full employment. Another thing that's important to look at is this concept called marginal propensity to consume, the MPC. The MPC is looking at the change in consumption resulting from a change in our income levels. Now, what does that mean? If you look at our consumption, you'll notice our consumption changes when our income changes. So for example, if I give you the MPC is 0.75, that means every dollar that a consumer gets, they're going to spend 75 cents of it, and they're going to save 25 cents of it. That's a key component to our economy, because the higher the MPC, the more that consumers are likely to spend money. Now, MPS is looking at the change in savings resulting from a change in income. So 0.25 tells me every dollar an American consumer gets, they're going to save 25 cents of it. So those are some of the topics that we're going to be covering this week. Make sure to focus on the week 5 discussion forum and the quality of your post and quiz number 4. If you need any assistance this week, please let me know, but I look forward to your effort.